Okay, hello everyone. I'm definitely back for a part two video. Um, in this one, I'm gonna get into a little bit more about the twin flames a bit here because that ties into the Israelites as well. Because, like I said before, in a few videos ago, and actually me and the Hood Oracle and Deanna, I believe Deanna might be in that conversation because we have a couple of videos planned together. Originally, it was going to be me and Oracle, and I think now me and Deanna and Oracle, all three of us are going to do a video regarding the Israelite history together, and I'm very excited to be putting this together. I'll go in more depth about the history, about Israelites in the 144. The Most High still, is giving me spiritual downloads of the knowledge about who we are and why we're on the earth. And I'm just gonna let you know, I don't care what spiritual enlightenment regarding twin flames you have. I don't care how many tarot cards you flip. I don't care how deep of a connection you think you have with the person you're with. If you are not anybody on that Israelite chart, if your bloodline, if your father's father's father, father's father, father's father is not a direct descendant, of an Israelite, you are not a twin soul. You are not. You're not. You are not a twin soul. I don't care about what you think you believe or what spiritual experience you got going on. Okay, you got to remember something. The fallen angels know the truth too about who the twin flames are. So they're putting out a lot of delusions and deceptions on people, thinking they're walking this journey when they really aren't. Okay, there's a reason why God said he's going to send the nations, even the nations, strong delusions that they would believe a lie. They let them believe they lies. Okay, the other nations have always been deceived by these strange spirits, which is why they're comfortable with the whole ascendant master argument. That's another video we're planning on putting on, and I can't wait for that one. There's a reason why they believe the whole ascendant masters and communicate and connect with the ascendant masters. Why? Because the same gods that masquerade as their gods, they masquerade as the ascendant masters as well. They play, you got to understand, these spirits play more than one role. One of these fallen angels can be Zeus one day and then be Amun-Ra tomorrow. Okay, like that's how that works. This is why they call them familiar spirits. If you hear booming in the background, my neighbors have got firecrackers going off. I guess 4th of July has not ended for them. So if you hear any crackle-lacking in the background, yeah, those are fireworks going off in my neighbor's backyard. So yeah, I've had a couple of friends who, come from pagan backgrounds, who are from near the Middle East or what may have you, or in those Japhetic areas from Japheth, because Eastern Indians, a lot of them come from the Japhetic bloodlines from Japheth. And I believe the Persians, they come from Japhetic bloodlines. Yep, all those in those areas in those parts of Asia and what may have you are from Japheth. Okay, which makes them Gentiles, and they and I said, hey, listen, you can't find out who you are in the charts, then on the Israelite tribal charts, then you can't be a part of the 144. You just cannot. Okay, if you read in the Bible, and I'm gonna put that verse down there, because sometimes I forget these verses and I should have them written down, but that's an Aquarius flaw. Our asses can be unorganized sometimes. So, you know, it says in Revelations that 12,000 from each tribe must be sealed. So how, New Age got a hold of this concept? It's quite simple. When they took us down in 70 AD, they started stealing a lot of secrets. So, because let me tell you something. A lot of these pagan religions and a lot of these people who worship many different gods and many different beliefs, they're not that spiritually deep. Okay. A lot of the stuff that they have that makes their religion seem so grand and stand out is because they stole and hijacked those records from my Israelite ancestors. And any Israelite who's listening to this, our ancestors. They stole a lot of this stuff from our ancestors. That's another thing. These Gentiles have stolen a lot of things from us, and then in turn want to sit there and trash our stories, our spiritual systems, and things of what may have you. And y'all like to sit there and say, oh, you're religious, but yet you want to hijack the 144 from my book. Y'all love discrediting my forefathers' records, but then trying to steal things out of there that makes makes your world such a better looking place. The fact that y'all had to steal from us, that should tell the world something. Your religions that you follow ain't as grand as you like to believe either. Because why did you have to take from us once we fell as a people? For another point I had to make is about these alternative lifestyles that our people get trapped in, the Israelites. We get trapped in these alternative lifestyles like Egyptology and the House of Consciousness and Kemet and all these different belief systems, and it's not and it's not by accident either. Okay, why do you think they allowed so many immigrants into our territories? Why did you think they allowed so many people from different Gentile nations into America? Was to keep us trapped in different ideologies and keep us from the truth about our Hebrew ancestry. Okay? That's the only reason why they let these other why Edom, the Idumean people, let these other people from nations come in. Had nothing to do with them giving a fuck about equality, because we know they don't care. We know that they don't care. When I say Edomite or Idumeans, I'm talking about what y'all call European people, the so-called Europeans, the Seven Horns, France, Great Britain, Germany, Russia, all those areas are the Seven Horns that the Bible talk about. So y'all thought they were literally talking about a beast, a monster. No, it's talking about the system of the Idumeans, the Seven Horns, the 10 heads, the Seven Horns, whatever you want to call them, that the Bible spoke about. That's the only reason why they let the Edomites let all these other Gentile nations come in here. It's because they needed to keep they used the other Gentile nations to keep us asleep and to give us alternatives outside of who we are as a people. Okay, y'all need to look at the symbolic history of our people here. Every time y'all want to sit here and talk about the Bible, is a made up fairy tale, but every time our people revolted, it was something they read in that Bible that sparked them to be a revolutionist. Look at Nat Turner when he started reading the Bible. That gave him the courage to do what he needed to do. And look at where the revolt started. It started in a town called New Jerusalem. Y'all need to... You need to see the symbolics that play out, the biblical symbolics that play out in a lot of things concerning the history of our people here. Okay? And during those days, back in the 1800s and the 1700s, when we were in literal physical slavery under their shackles, when we were ever waking up to this truth, they killed us immediately. That if we were caught waking up out of this psychosis and realizing we're Israelite, if we were to scream about us being Israelites back in those days, we were immediately killed. Okay? All that for a fairy tale though, right? If we were Africans, they wouldn't have had to tell us that. You from Africa, you from Africa. Wouldn't we already know this? Come on, wake up. Why would we have to be told something that we already knew? Why did we need to be reminded that we're Africans? Not to mention that African people who are from the Hamitic bloodlines, who are also Gentiles, don't like us either. And they're the ones that were selling our people. They knew they weren't selling their own people. They knew that they were selling the Israelites, the remnant of our people that fled Jerusalem, heeding to Christ's warnings from hundreds of years ago. But somehow y'all started to decide to dibble and dabble into other stuff when y'all got there. And that's why the Most High sent them Gentile nations after you. Because he don't play. We kept breaking the covenant with him. He made he made a covenant with us, and we didn't honor our part of the agreement, so he let us go. He let the Gentile nations do this. You think us following ancient Kemet and all this voodoo and all this stuff is gonna free us out of this condition? What put us in this condition? Breaking God's law, statutes, and commandments, and you still trash it. You still don't believe. You still think who you are is a fairy tale because you don't feel like it's good enough, and you don't even understand the blessings that are at the end of this. Your soul will forever regret this, letting this go. There's nothing that you can tell me about Egyptology and all these other nations that y'all worship so much. I've been there and done it. And look what happened in the end. The Most High still brought me back to him. That's how I know I follow the truth, because no matter what I've done to run from it, I came back to it anyway. So I know I'm following the truth. I know the Most High have my footsteps ordered. I know who I walk with. I know. I know who carried me home each time I wanted to leave. Which brings me to my next point about going back to the twin flame conversation. I've noticed a few people, and I'm not going to mention any names, but whenever I have, because there's quite a number of them, and I don't need to mention any names, because if you have an issue with this and you are tickled by this, I guess I'm talking about you. I guess I'm talking about you if you're triggered by this. Okay? There's quite a few people that I've noticed who talk about twin flames but don't support twin flame unions happening. You, in general, and when I say you, this is a generalized you, not singling out a particular person. Universal you in general. Okay? Just a general you. Whoever I'm talking to, the you I'm talking to, or whatever it may be. You tend to make videos or make comments that always points out that the masculines are finished. The masculines are marked for hell. The masculines are done. They're being cut off. And that the divine feminines are going to end up with other people or alone, or some divine feminines are not even meant to be with anybody. They're just meant to wake up on this journey for their own selves and their own spiritual awakenings and healing. And or we're moving on to high level soulmates or what may have you. Listen, I'm going to tell you guys to pay attention to something. Pay attention to people who have a bitterness towards twin flames coming together. I pray, every time I pray for the twin flame collective. I pray for all the 144. Why? Because they are all from the house of Israel. And last time I checked, when you read that Bible, it said 12,000 from each tribe has the seal. So that tells you that we're going to make it. So how now can you sit there and say most of the masculines are being cut off? If 12,000 have the seal, if there's 144, there's 144,000 twin flame couples. When they speak about the 144, those are 12,000 couples from each tribe of Israel that has the seal. And people want to say it has nothing to do with biblical. Bullshit. That's the only place that was talking about the 144. There is nowhere in any other text that you can find them talking about the 144 except in biblical text. And when you want to sit there and bring it back to Plato talking about twin flames and whatnot, again, Plato was a made up character. He was, a lot of them Romans made up their heroes because they ain't never really have none. That's all they do is make shit up. So when you sit there and talk about it was written by Plato, how? Because it's come to find out that a lot of these so-called scholars and these famous scholars and Roman and Greek historians weren't even real. Being that you want to bring up who was real or fake, they weren't real. But y'all eat it up because they have statues of them. Y'all don't question that. But these were made up people. So how am I supposed to sit there and have any regard for Plato's writings when this man didn't even exist? Neither did Socrates. Neither did Socrates. Socrates wasn't real. So how now can we get anything from these writings? A lot of the stuff that they show you is very recent. Ever not wonder why the Roman architecture, like their sculptures and their statues, are in such good condition? A lot of those statues of Greeks and Roman figures are very recent, maybe from 100 years ago or so. A lot of them were making up a lot of their history during the time of our fall, making shit up and putting things in place. I don't think you people realize what great lengths they have globally went to do around the earth to hide and conceal who we are as a people of Israel, and how they went to great lengths to hide and conceal who they are too. They don't call themselves Romans anymore, even though we know that they are Romans. We are the 144, and we are the only ones that hold the record that speaks of the great 144, saying how 12,000 must be sealed. It is very specific when it comes to the Bible, showing you who has the seal of God. So how now are y'all sitting there talking about most of the masculines are not making it when it says in the Bible that they have the seal? 12,000 twin flame couples must be sealed, and there's only 144 of us. So how the hell do you keep promoting that most of us are getting cut off from our divine masculines? Which I do believe, by the way, like a lot of the people that are spewing this garbage are indeed karmics. I don't care how convincing you try to make yourself to be. I already know that you're a karmic. I can see it in your face and in your energy codes. I can see it. I can smell karmic a mile away. Okay, I just have that gift and ability. So you know, how are you giving the masculines a death sentence? This is what I'm trying to understand. How can you say we're getting cut off from our masculines when it said that God has put the seal on them? It's just a matter of time of when he's ready to bring us to get all the 12,000 from each tribe together. Okay? Why do we have the seal? Because we are the next leaders of the earth. We are the next leaders. We are going to literally help the Most High Son pass judgment on the earth for what it's done. Yes, he is giving us the keys to pass judgment. Yes, he is. I bet you your tarot cards and ascendant masters didn't tell you this. That's what the 144 is. The next rulers of the earth. But here they wanted you to sit there and talk about you and ascended masters in the clouds. When God said that the 12,000 will be kings and queens and inherited the earth. There's a reason why they fear the Israelites and want people to believe that what we are is a myth, because they know what comes with this awakening. They know that we're going to wake up, and well, we have already waken up, but they knew the day that we woke up, we would cry to God to fulfill his promise to us. We will not stop until we get the promises of Abraham, until the promises of Abraham are fulfilled. Okay? They knew with our awakening, their rulership over this planet comes to an end. Once Christ returns here and set up the kingdoms, because we weren't just promised Israel, we were promised different land masses to rule over. We will literally inherit the earth. After Christ returns and restore the kingdom, there will be no more Gentile rulerships. You will become subjects. You will not see any more presidents from other nations ruling. You will not see this anymore. Their kingdomships are being cut off. And I know I'm speaking the truth. Every time I do a voice recording on this and I look at the clock, I always bump into angelic numbers. 2121, 111, 222, 2525, 2424. Every time I speak, because, I don't really be looking at this timer like that. But when I do turn my face to look, I always catch a glimpse of an angel number as the timer is going. This is how I know the Most High is telling me I'm correct. I have no reason to sit here and lie. And this is what they fear. There's a reason why y'all Gentile nations are looking at black people with intimidating eyes, because y'all know something's coming. You can feel a judgment coming. You fear that we will do to you what you did to us. We don't have time to be sitting here wasting our existence going into some meeting in a bat cave somewhere on some remote island where y'all rape children and sit there and try to figure out how we're going to kill Gentiles today, how we're going to spray chemtrails over their land, how we're going to sit there and steal and hide their history from them. We're not like that. We don't have, and there's a reason why most of our people think people like me are loony. Because they don't, think that we're crazy for saying what we say. It's because Israelites, black people, black and brown people don't think like that. We would never guess that there is a conspiracy like that against us to remotely eradicate us from the planet. We don't think like that. So it's hard for my people to see and comprehend that there's an agenda out to outright do this to them, and that there's a system literally in place to do what is being done to them. We don't think like that. You don't want it to be true, because if it, then you have to deal with a reckoning. I don't know what to say to the Gentile nations. You should have been on the right side of things instead of promoting your ascended masters, instead of promoting your Buddhas, instead of promoting your Zeus, instead of promoting your tarot cards, instead of promoting all these things that Satan done set up in this world. You should have been on the right side of prophecy, but y'all are dumb enough to get in bed with these Edomites. And look at how he played y'all. He played y'all dirty, especially China. He did China dirty. China, y'all really thought that Esau didn't have, a trick up his sleeve for y'all. You really, really thought that. You really thought that you could scheme your way, into being a superpower. And look, he had the whole planet not wanting to buy shit from you. You think the so-called white man ain't got a system in place to deal with y'all? The only reason why this is why he wanted control. He wants control. The only reason why he allowed y'all in is because he couldn't do this by himself. Y'all follow these fallen angels as your gods. These angels that turned their back on God eons ago. And now look, you're on the wrong side of prophecy. Now you're going to get your ass handed to you. What can I say? We got next. I don't care if this bothers you. If you are not a part of the tribes of Israel, you are not a twin flame. You are not a twin soul. And I know this to be true because last year I kept trying, because us Aquarius people, man, we are knowledge chasers. I said, you know what? I need to find out what the heck this really is. What is happening to me? And I say this was like a few months after I woke up. I was speaking to a friend of mine. I said, watch, I'm going to find out something about twin flames that nobody else know about. And look what happened. It took me right back to the book of Revelations where it talked about how 12,000 have the seal. You want to know what did that for me? Is because y'all kept talking about 144 in the New Age community. And I know that number from what? Reading the Bible, understanding the Hebrew history. And that's what made me put 2 and 2 together. 25. I just looked at, yeah. I know I'm on the right track. It is what it is. It is what it is. So I guess that concludes my videos for right now. I hope you guys enjoyed it, even though I was a little bit rowdy, but I tend to get passionate about these things, I'm a very passionate woman. I'm not angry. I'm not trying to be loud or obnoxious. It's just that I'm passionate about the things that I hold dear to me, and I get loud and very passionate. That's all it is. But I thank you guys for watching and tuning in. And if you'd like to subscribe, feel free to do so. I will continue to keep my viewers in prayer, and I ask that you do the same for me. I wish you a very good evening and have a good night. God bless.